Hey everyone, it's Bob McCranie, and I want to introduce you to the 2026 Production Spreadsheet. So this is version 10 AI because it has some AI prompts built into it. If you've used our spreadsheet before, you'll know that the Dashboard tab is the first tab. This is where all the summaries of your work will appear, and you do not type on this tab. This tab is strictly for summing up things that happen in the other parts of the spreadsheet. So if you have any questions about this, reach out to me or reach out to your coach. The production tab has pretty much remained the same year over year. You're going to put the address of the property in the column B. You're going to pick whether it's a buyer, seller, landlord, tenant, inbound referral, outbound referral, or property management. You're going to put a date here. Now, please be sure it is an actual date. Do not put something like Q1. Do not type out December. Do not put something that is not an actual date in that field. You're going to put your price here. You're going to set your commission rate. You're going to set your split with your company. If you're giving a referral, let's say that you're receiving a referral from somebody else and you're giving away 25%, that would go there. If you're receiving a referral, meaning that you've given a referral to somebody in another place and you're getting that money, you're actually giving away 75% and making 25%. So this is where you put the referral amount. This is where you pick your source, and I'll show you in a minute where you can add your sources. And this is where you pick your team member. So team member source, we're going to put in 123 Banana Street. And whether it's a buyer or a seller. Now, yes, I know I misspelled banana. If you have a situation on the dashboard here, you'll see that there's a graph. Let's say that we also sell 234 Grape Street, and it is a seller, and we close that one in March. Be sure that the year is actually 2026. If you put any year that's not the current year, it will not show up anywhere. So this is a $2 million property, and we're going to give away 25% referral on that, and it's going to be sphere of influence, and I'm going to leave the name out of this. Now, name should be your name. When that happens, you might see something happen to the graphs where it looks like a huge rainbow of colors. That's because a data element is missing. If you see this on your spreadsheet, that means you've forgotten a data element here. So fill that data element in, and that graph goes back to being perfect. So this is where you have your closed transactions. Below is where you have your pending transactions. Now, some of you are so good, you fill out your whole spreadsheet and you need more room. If you need to add room, always add room before the black line at the bottom. Don't add rows lower, add rows in the middle. That way all the formulas still work. Okay? When something closes or moves, we're going to copy within the black lines. We never cut, we always copy, and always within these two black lines. So we're going to copy. Let's say this one shouldn't have been closed, it was still pending, and we're going to come down here and we're going to do paste. And that's how we do it. But always within the black lines, do not take the whole row. Okay? Just go within the black lines. And when we want to white something out, what we do is we just take a blank line, we copy, and we paste over. It's that simple. And I know it seems a little troublesome to some folks, but just within the black lines, we always copy and paste. We never cut and paste. So we have our closed at the top. We have our pending after that. This is for things that are in escrow. We have a closing date. We know when they're going to happen. We're going to have our listings and signed buyers here. These are people that we already have a relationship with, and it is documented. And then this is our funnel. Our funnel is for people we're going to work with in the next 6, 8 weeks, 3 months, maybe 6 months out. Talk to your coach. It's up to them to help you with this. But the funnel is showing you where your business is coming from. Okay. Next, we have the Systems tab. Now, this is where you're going to list all your leads, all your lead sources. So let's say you have open house. You have farm, and you can call it GeoFarm. You can call it whatever. You have referral. Now, I like to separate out referral versus referrals from agents, referral from sphere of influence, referral, because you can get referrals from multiple places. Let's say this is a referral lender, okay? You have builder, you have all sorts of different lead sources here. Talk to your coach about what are your lead sources and which ones you're developing. You're going to list here where your CRM and your IDX are, which companies you're using. You're using any sort of content propagation like Keeping Current Matters, Slider Real Estate. You have any sort of messaging like BombBomb or MailChimp. Are you using anything to schedule your social media posts like Zapier or Hootsuite, and which social platforms you're working on? This here is where you're going to change the name so that you can list out your team members. And I believe it's built for, 40 team members here. So if you have more than that, reach out to me. I will make this work for you. But this is where you put basically your tech stack and what you're working on. Okay, so you'll see the numbers here, 5, 6. I'm going a little bit in reverse order, but I'm working across the tabs here. It should help you understand how this gets filled out. Okay, so we're going to take this back out because we don't need it here. Let's speak up its name again. Now, in your business plan section here, you're going to take from your business plan your 10-year, 5-year, 1-year vision. This is so you and your coach see it more frequently than if you just left it in the other systems. Okay, what's your mission? What is your unique selling proposition? What is your why, your commitment, your accountability, and values? Which are important. We need to see those every week when we're in the spreadsheet. Now, in 2020, well, the previous year, I'll just say the previous year, what was your number of units, your volume, and your commission? Okay, how did they come in? Were they mostly buyers, sellers? What was the split here? This is for the previous year. Now, for the new year, you probably have already done this in the system here. What are your goals for the new year? What's your average sales price? What's your average commission? And how many deals do you want to have? Let's say that I'm going to leave that at 450, 2% commission, and I want to have 20 deals by the end of the year. We'll say 20, 22. So let's say 12 here. So that means I know that 450 is my average price, 2% is on my average commission. I want to have 22 deals this year, which means my goal for the year is 9,900,000. My commission goal is 198,000, and I want 22 deals by the end of the year. Now, the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to come down and figure out when those deals are going to happen. We want to be sure that we level this out. If I'm in a market that's like most American markets where the winter is slower, I want to put more weight into the second and third quarter and less weight into the first and fourth quarter. So we ought to get to 22, but let's say that we want to have 1, 2, and 2. And then we want to have the opposite in the end of the year, 2, 2, 1. And this number here at the bottom is telling us how many we have left over that we need to use up. So we need to really kind of work hard in these summer months to be sure that we're on task. And you and your coach can work this out. So when that reads 0, you've accounted for all the deals that you want for the beginning of the year. For the year. Now, this marketing plan here is for in-person marketing. Let me say it again. This is for in-person marketing. This is not for your mailers and your, reels that you're going to put out, things that people can just tune into or not. This is not for postcards. This is for what events are you going to do? And I want you to be in front of people and be circulating. So these are the Hallmark holidays. You can get rid of them. If you don't like these, great. Just push them aside. So, and then if you're in my coaching circle, we're going to record when your tech hours are going to be. If you're not in my coaching circle, this doesn't apply to you. But having these numbers here and this seasonality broken out, you'll see that reflected here on the dashboard page. So you'll see that we had 1 deal in January, 1 deal in March. We were going for 5 deals. We ended up with 2. We're going for 2.25 million, and we got 3.5. And that's because when I put in the deals on the Production tab, I went higher than what we were expecting. So this helps you understand where your business is. When you have your marketing in here, let's say we're going to do New Year's Eve party. And we're going to do St. Patrick's Parade. That's also going to show up here on the dashboard because it's going to remind us what marketing we need to do. Now, if you're in my coaching circle, you know that every month we go over this. Actually, every week we go over this because I want to be sure you're getting out and seeing people. Okay, so we've got our mission values and our why above. We've defined our goals. We've got our ideas here for what we're going to be doing for marketing. Another good step is to, what are your goals for the year? What are your operational initiatives? So let's say it's renew license. Of course, we don't need to do that. Maybe our operational initiative might be new website. You can list here what it is you want to get done. What is the priority of that on a scale of 1 to 5? And when do you need to have it done by? What date does this need to be done by? So I need to renew by the 1st of April, and I need my new website, let's say by June. And you can come and list that out, and you work with your coach on that every week. Now, if you're in my coaching group, you know I go over the quarterly numbers every call. Every call. We're going to talk about how many days do you want to work in an average week. Okay, and these numbers can be changed. You don't have to use these numbers. You can use whatever number you and your coach agree to. So in an average week, let's say that you agree you're going to work 6 days a week. You're going to do 3 hours of power a week. You're going to do, let's say you're going to make 10 phone calls during each hour of power, so that's 30 for the week. You're going to send out 10 emails in an hour of power, which means it's 30. And let's say you're going to send out 5 SMS texts during an hour of power, so that's going to be 15. Now, sphere conversations in my world, sphere conversations are the random conversation you have with your neighbor when you see them out front, or the friend that you run into at the grocery store. Just you're looking to talk to people. Okay. Now, how many appointments do you intend to set a week? Let's say we want 2 appointments a week, which means we'll probably go on 1 because there's always a cancellation or something happens. How many open houses do you want to do in an average week? How many CMAs can you send out in an average week? How many listings do we want to take? So let's say we want to take 2 listings a month. That'd be each week 0.5, because in 4 weeks that's going to equal 2 listings. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you feel? Okay, I don't think that everybody can be a 10 every week. I don't think that's normal. But I do try to get everybody I have in my group to an 8. So if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, mentally, physically, how do you feel? I think 8 is pretty healthy. That's just me. Now we get down to our social media and what we're doing with AI here. So how many Facebook posts can you do in a week? Now this is personal and business. So I'm going to say 5. How many Instagrams? Well, my Instagram and my Facebook are tied together. TikTok, I'll do 1. LinkedIn, I'll do 1. YouTube, I try to do 2 a week. Blogs, I try to do 5 a week. Google Business Profile, I'll try to do 1 a week. Now, how many times are we going to go to ChatGPT and talk about our business? I do this every week to all the major models. These are the 4 large language models: ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and Grok. So I'm going to go on there once a week and talk about my business. And then Perplexity as well. Now, Perplexity is not unto itself a large language model, but it plays with the 4 of them and it knows what it's doing. So I will go out to each of those. Every week when we talk, I'm going to ask you how you actually did. And I'm going to say, how many days did you work? Well, I only worked 5. How many hours of power? I got all 3 of my hours of power. How many dials? I did 25. Now, if you're in my coaching group, you know I ask you to keep track of this on a piece of paper. Just have your numbers for me. Emails, I ended up doing 16. SMS texts, I did 27. So we're over indexing on some and under on indexing on the others. Sphere conversations, I talked to 4 people. I set 3 appointments. I went on 1. I had 1 open house. It was very successful. I only sent out 3 CMAs this week. Personal listings taken, I didn't take any listings this week. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel about a 7. Okay, I did my 5 Instagrams and Facebooks. I did 0 TikTok. I did my 1. I did 1 YouTube. I did 6 blogs. And let's say I did my Google Business Profile. I did my chat. In my Claude. I didn't get to Grok this week, and I didn't get to Perplexity. So when you start to fill this out, it builds up a whole series of work that you're doing. Over time, all 4 of these quarters lead to your numbers increasing. This is the daily work that we have to do to make our systems work. When I get into a production area and the funnel is weak, I can tell you that it's probably because the daily work isn't getting done. Now, one addition to this year's spreadsheet that was not here last year is the AI update. As you're typing in these numbers and doing things, you can literally copy this, take it to ChatGPT, take it to Claude, take it to Grok, take it to Gemini, and start a dialogue about how you're doing with your business. It will have your current stats all built up and ready to go. This is something that you want to do every week or so that those large language models know how you're doing and can recommend you to buyers and sellers who are going onto their site and saying, hey, I have a house to sell in Des Moines. I don't know who to call. This is exactly what we need to be feeding it, is how hard you work. Each of these quarters is set up the same, and they're just going to change by which months are in the quarters. So talk to your coach if you have any questions about this. It's super simple to do. Just keep a notepad by your desk, track your numbers. Tom will tell you if it's not counted, it does not count. Okay? So now we have the AI projects. If you're in my coaching group, we're going to walk through this together. The hello, my name is script that we use on Chat, Gemini, Claude, and Grok. And then we take the answers to all those and we add them back in reverse order to the same sites. Okay? Down here is something new that I've put in. This is how to build blogs exponentially. You're going to put in your first name, you're going to put in your last name, you're going to put in your city, you're going to put in your state, you're going to put in your brokerage. You're going to skip this number here because that shouldn't be editable. That's going to be, skip that one. I'm going to work first of all on questions. In my role as I'm a broker, associate. You can also just type in realtor there. My team has sold over 1,150 years in real estate. I started in 2003. I have, let's say, 45 reviews, my phone number, my email address, and my website. Okay, now this is here. This is where you're going to load up all the questions you want to put in here. Now, one thing you can do is go ask Google or ask Claude or ask Gemini, what are questions people are asking when they're looking to buy a home in your area? So you would line up all those questions and put them in here, and it's going to fill out this prompt. And you take this prompt, put it into the large language models, and then you have blogs written for you. And I can show you this in detail if you want to. So let's just say that I have, how much is my down payment when buying a home? And the second question is, should I get an inspection? And the next one should be, should I get a survey? And the next one is this a good time to buy? And you'll see as this is filling out on the right here, this whole prompt fills out. You can load this up with around 60 questions. And if you take this prompt to one of the large language models and say, write a blog response to each of these questions and include me in the details, all these details become part of the blog and it will write it for you. So if you need more help with this, let me know. But this is written into your production spreadsheet and your coach is bringing this to you. Next is on branding. This is your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats? From this, you're going to do what's called TALS, where you take your strengths against your opportunities and your weaknesses against your opportunities, your strengths against your threats, and your weaknesses against your threats. Now, I teach a class on this. If you want me to, I will teach you a class and we can walk through this. If this doesn't make sense, just skip this for right now. It may be overwhelming for you. Time blocking is critically important, and I put a sample of the time block here for you to see. We need you to go in and allocate where you're going to spend your time. We have 168 hours in the week. How you spend them is more important than how you spend your money. okay? Time is more important than money. So you're going to highlight some cells here. Let's say you get up at 7 in the morning. You're going to go up here to the paint bucket. And up here in the paint bucket, you're going to pick gray for sleep. And you're just going to say, this is sleep. From here, you're going to start to fill in everything else you do. Now, this is a good example here, but it needs to be your work. Okay, so talk to your coach about your time block and how you're doing. Next, here we have our profit and loss statement. Now, we know that based on the information you put in your business plan, we know how much income you expect to make per month based on the number of deals and what you're doing. This here actually shows what the actual income was, because remember we put in a transaction for January and one for March. We know what our actuals are. This is it's rudimentary, but it's here for people if they want to track all their numbers. It's here. Talk to your coach if you need more help with this. Next, we have tasks. These are all the things we need to do, who it's assigned to, and what the status is. These are the things we're doing. Now, in doing, you can only do 4 things at a time. You can have as much as you want and do. You can have all your accomplishments and done, but you should only be trying to do 4 things at once because we all multitask. So this is the last tab. The roll-up, you don't need to worry about. That's for me and the coaches to look at. If you have any questions on the production spreadsheet, reach out to me, Bob McCranie. I can be found anywhere in the ecosystem, and I hope to talk to you soon. And if